Tell us what brings you to ThrillerFest this year. I know you're an author.
ThrillerFest, even authors have our favorite authors, so I had to see
Right.
Nelson DeMille and Lee Child and all my favorite
Yeah.
peeps, and chance to go to seminars, and we try and hone our craft as best we can. So, and then we get to pimp our books, which is good.
Right. So speaking of pimping your books, tell us about your books.
So book number 14 came out last month. It's a novella called Battle Scars. Typically I write thrillers. I'm at ThrillerFest, and the team series is a military espionage series that's got 6 books to it, which I include the mop in that. Book 5 came out about a month and a half ago, and all 3 of the newer ones, books 3, 4, and 5, will drop in print next week. So the entire series will be available in paperback at your local bookstores and Barnes & Nobles, or look me up on Amazon or davidsalkin.com. And then the Battle Scars book came out. It's actually a novella. Not really a true thriller, but it's a Wounded Warrior story. For me, my best prose, it's 120 pages, but it's a 1,000-page story in 120 pages. And it tells the story of a wounded warrior, his deployment. He's a Marine, his injury, the loss of his battle buddies to an IED, and then coming home without a leg and trying to figure out now what happens. And it's a fictional story, but it reads like real life, and I actually just got goosebumps talking about it, because like these guys in the book are real to me, even though I invented them.
Right.
But after working with Wounded Warriors for 20 some odd years, the characters are sort of conglomerations of guys that I've met, that I've worked with, and made into characters. So the story's fiction, but in a lot of ways it's really not fiction. It's what's happening.
Right. Do you think I'll cry from reading it? I cry very easily.
So I'll tell you a secret. Now everyone's going to know. I've written about 20 books, 14 are out. It's the only thing I ever wrote that made me cry writing it.
Oh, wow.
And that was like kind of a weird experience, like make yourself cry writing it. I mean,
Yeah.
other authors tell me that they've done that before, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just write entertainment. this is not usually emotional.
Right.
But it was very emotional. And the end. So yes, the short answer is I promise you're going to have a good
I'm sure
cry. But you're also going to laugh. If any
okay.
Marines are watching this interview, you know what rippets are. The chapter on rippets, I promise you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're going to laugh your butt off. But the other parts that are very raw and very real, they are emotional. And the good news is it is an inspirational story. So when you close the book, you're going to be okay with it. You're not going to be sobbing and want to slit your throat. No, you're not going to be depressed.
Yeah.
I think I hope you're going to be inspired. And I've had a couple of people ask me about getting some of these books into the hands of veterans at a couple homes, like where guys will recuperate.
Right.
And the reason they've asked me is because they found the story to be one of inspiration, not just of being depressed. So even though it's a tough read and the journey that our main character takes is a hard one, there is redemption and there's some hope.
And did you always want to be an author?
Yes, it was funny. I was going through my parents' stuff. My mom's gone, but my dad, we were moving. He was 88 years old, and I find a box of my stuff from maybe first grade. You know the penmanship paper you had with like the big lines and the dotted one in the middle when you're learning how to write cursive? I found a short story that I wrote, and I was maybe 5. I don't even know how old I was. So evidently I've been making stuff up my whole life, and now I make stuff up professionally.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I've always been a writer. I was an English major at Rutgers, and I've been writing for, I guess, professionally about 10 years. So I write full-time now.
Do you have any advice for anyone just starting out who wants to be a writer?
Yes. Get yourself a big folder. In a big black Sharpie, write rejection letters on it and start collecting. And when you get to about 100, then you're actually an author. And then at 101, maybe you get an acceptance letter. But it is a very tough grind. This business beats you up. It makes you feel like you must be terrible at it because no one will talk to you. And then one day you get a phone call and like you have a book out and you're thinking, oh, maybe I don't suck after all.
Yeah.
And then 14 books later, here you are doing it full time and you're very happy with your life. So it's a gut check, and you just got to hang in there and do it. If this is what you love to do, you got to do it.
Right.
Telling stories is fun.
Yeah.
Editing is hard. Writing stories is just fun.
Well, thank you so much. That's very inspiring.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks.